How you guys doing? All right. So, just got home from work a little bit ago, and I said I was going to do this. And, yeah, let's move that a little bit there. There we go. That should work a little better. So, I did the season predictions for who I think will finish where in the standings, and one of the subscribers went and said you should do a playoff prediction. So that's what I'm about to do here. But before I get into this, again, welcome to the channel. If you are new to the channel, hopefully you enjoy the videos. Check out some of the other videos on the channel. And if you enjoy, it would mean very much to me if you would hit like and subscribe over there. And, if you've been around before and, you've seen the videos, but you haven't quite gotten around to hitting that subscribe button, go ahead and do it. It might make you feel better if you're having a bad day. You see an upbeat, you see me upload, a video that, kind of upbeat, maybe it'll make you feel better. Because about almost 65% of the people who watch my channel are not subscribed, so I would love to bring that down a little bit and get that count up. Because I'm trying to see if I can get to 1,000 subscribers, or at least somewhat close to it, by the end of the year. And I'd certainly love your guys' help with that. So, with that said, here is the bracket. This is kind of how I always do it. And because normally when the playoffs start, I go and I write my bracket down on a normal just like a normal tablet, similar to this. This was mine, of course, from last year, which is very, very similar to that. And so I guess I kind of did that and transferred it to here, and this is for for 2023. Now, I'm fully anticipating being absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. So, when it comes time to it, don't be afraid to go and say, God, you really screwed up. Because, like I said, this is just all prediction. Don't know if it's going to be right, if it's going to be wrong. I'm fully anticipating it being wrong, but this is still kind of fun. So, right here, we have the Central Division here. This is the Pacific Division. Over here is the Atlantic Division, and this is the Metro Division. And of course, I know they don't call it this in the playoffs, but it basically is the same way. The first round is the divisional semifinal. Second round is the divisional final. Then it's the conference final. And then, of course, the Stanley Cup Final. Now, the number 4 seeds, whichever team ends up number 4, those are the 2 wild cards. The 2 wild card teams end up the number 4 seed in whatever conference they're in, depending on who's got, what record. So, and it's like that in on both sides, and there can be divisional cross matchups. Where a metropolitan team can end up a wild card and play the number 1 team in the Atlantic, which might help if I put their seed here. Number 1. There we go. There we go. Now we know what number 1 is. So these are how I figured this would go. Now, of course, number 1 in the Central, because I had as my teams in the Central Division, get my little notebook out here because I did write this all. I did write these all down on these also. So let's see. In the Central Division, I had Colorado finishing first, St. Louis finishing second, Dallas third, Nashville fourth, and Minnesota fifth, Jets 6, Coyotes 7, Blackhawks 8. So, number 1, obviously in the Central, is these guys. So that might look a little small. But Colorado, and of course I separate the colors there, and hopefully you guys can kind of see that. So Colorado's number 1 in the Central, which means number 2 and 3 are the Blues at number 2. And they would play the Dallas Stars in the 2-3 matchup in the Central. Now in the Pacific, I had Edmonton finishing first, then Vegas, then Calgary, then LA, Vancouver, San Jose, Anaheim, Seattle. So, in the Pacific, winning the Pacific, I have, of course, the Edmonton Oilers winning the Pacific Division. So that means the 2-3 matchup are the Knights and yeah, I'm just writing down Knights instead of Golden Knights. I mean, we all know they're the Golden Knights, but they kind of have a long name. So the Knights will play the Flames in the first round in the divisional semifinal. Now, the wild cards. The wild cards I had here, who did I have the wild cards? Yep. The team with the number 2 wild card. Will play Colorado because I figured Colorado would be number 1 in the conference. So the number 2 wild card, kind of going on a little bit of a limb here. It is a team that is initially from the Pacific Division is moving into the Central. And it is this team. This might kind of surprise some people. But I think they could surprise some people. The Vancouver Canucks. I have the Vancouver Canucks as the number 2 wild card, which means the number 1 wild card that I have, an actual Pacific Division team, this is a rematch from last year. In the first round, I believe, we have the Oilers playing the LA Kings. So that is my first round matchup in the Western Conference. It is Colorado versus Vancouver, St. Louis versus Dallas, Edmonton, Los Angeles, Vegas, Calgary. So that's the West. Out East, got some interesting ones out East here. Now out East, we have the Atlantic Division there. Of course, the Atlantic Division. In my predictions, I had Toronto finishing first, then the Lightning, the Panthers in third, the Bruins in fourth, Senators fifth, Red Wings 6, Sabres 7, Montreal 8. So the Atlantic Division, as we go over here, the Atlantic, of course, this is the Toronto the Toronto Maple Leafs, number 1 in the Atlantic. Now, which means that in the Atlantic, you have the Lightning against the Panthers. This is another rematch. So we have here the Lightning at number 2, and so it's the Battle of Florida one more time. That's the 2-3 matchup in the Atlantic. The Metro Division, I had winning the Metro. I had this team, as we know. This is the New York Rangers. So we have the Rangers winning the Metro Division. The number 2 and 3 teams in the Metro. And again, because of the Metro, I had the Rangers, Hurricanes, Penguins, Islanders, Capitals, Blue Jackets, Devils, Flyers. I'm fully anticipating being wrong in all 4 of those division matchups. So, in this, the number 2 seed and the 3 seed are, first we have the Hurricanes at number 2 playing the Pittsburgh Penguins. So that is the 2-3 matchup. So we have that 2-3 matchup, Carolina versus Pittsburgh. Now, who ends up being the wild cards? Depends on who I think finishes first in the conference. Team I have finishing first, and I don't think it's gonna be, I don't think it's gonna be a runaway. I think it'll be close. But I think the Toronto Maple Leafs have the best record in the conference. So the number 2 wild card will be the number 4 seed in the Atlantic. And the number 2 wild card that I have is this team. I have the Washington Capitals as the number 2 wild card. So I think they will play Toronto in round 1. Should be an interesting matchup. Now, and that is a Metro team that moves up into the Atlantic, which means there's another Metro team that is in here. And who is that team? This would be a barn burner if it happens. It is this team. The Battle of New York. The Rangers against the Islanders. So that is who I have in the playoff spots. Again, go through this. We have Colorado versus Vancouver, St. Louis versus Dallas, Edmonton versus Los Angeles, Vegas versus Calgary. That is the Western Conference. Over here in the East, we got Toronto playing Washington, Tampa Bay playing Florida, New York versus New York, and Carolina versus Pittsburgh. Now, what we have going on to who I have going on to round 2. This one, to me at least, and like I said, I anticipate being absolutely wrong here. But I have going in here, Vancouver had a nice season. I think it comes to an end here. So Colorado advances. to the divisional final. Now in the 2-3 matchup, this one was kind of tough. It was definitely a little tough because, they both have pretty good goaltending, but when it comes down to it, I think this one team is just a little bit better than the other, and I think they're going to end up winning this series, and it is this team. I think we get a rematch. I think we get a rematch of the divisional final last year. I think it's Colorado versus St. Louis. Like I said, I know I'm going out on such a limb, aren't I? Basically picking, here's all the rematches. Could definitely happen. Who knows? Or, like I said, I could be completely wrong. So in the Pacific, we have the Oilers and the Kings. This one was tough. This one was really tough because LA is a good young up and coming team, but I think they're just going to get overwhelmed. I think the skill of the Oilers is just going to be too much. So I have the Edmonton Oilers moving to the divisional final in the Pacific Division. Now, who are they going to play? I could end up being totally wrong on this, especially, I'm banking on Vegas being completely healthy. If Vegas is completely healthy, even with the moves that Calgary made, I don't think we get the Battle of Alberta 2 years in a row. I have Vegas beating Calgary. So, the divisional finals in both the Central and Pacific, we have Colorado versus St. Louis, Edmonton versus Vegas. Now over here, in the Atlantic, ballsy. Getting ballsy here. This could definitely surprise some people. But the 1-4 matchup in the Atlantic, I have this team moving on. Like I said, this might surprise some people. I have the Leafs getting out of the first round for the first time since 2004. I think they get out of their own head here, and they find a way, and they knock off the Capitals in round one. I'm giving Toronto. I'm letting them. They're advancing. They're making some headway finally. So I've got them beating Washington in round one. Oh, crazy thought, huh? Number 2, the Battle of Florida. I think going to end up being another similar result. And this will end up being a rematch also. But this will be a rematch in the second round instead of the first. Toronto playing Tampa. Now, over here in the Metro, we got the Battle of New York. That is two teams, they can't stand each other. I think though when it comes right down to it, as good as the Islanders have been, I think they kind of get a little overwhelmed here. And I have the New York Rangers advancing into the second round. The 2-3 matchup in the Metro. That's a heck of a matchup there. The Carolina Hurricanes and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Whoo. That could be a series that goes along, that could go the distance. But I have this team overcoming, and I think this is a team that, pretty good team. This, of course, ends up being another rematch. The Rangers play the Carolina Hurricanes. So we've got we got three. Three of the four matchups will end up being rematches. Now this one was a first round matchup last year. This one was a second round matchup last year between the Rangers and the Hurricanes. This one here, Colorado St. Louis, second round matchup. This one, the Oilers and the Knights, they obviously they didn't play each other last year because Vegas did not make the playoffs, but that is who I have in the divisional final. Now, who do I have moving on to the conference finals? I think in this one, it's going to end up being a very similar result, I think. I think Colorado advances to the conference finals again. And they're looking like that machine that they were last year. So I have them advancing to the conference final. Now, who do they play? This one I kind of pondered over. But, especially considering, Vegas found a way to knock out Calgary. And I think in this one, Vegas plays them tough, but we have another rematch here. The Western Conference Final, Colorado versus Edmonton. I have them facing each other again for the second year in a row. Now over here, in the East, we have Toronto playing Tampa. Now, as good of a story as it is to see Toronto get out of the first round, yeah, that's basically where it comes to an end. I have the Tampa Bay Lightning winning that one and moving on to the conference final, as I leaned up against part of that there, but I think we can all still see that. So I have Tampa into the conference final. Now this one was tough. This one was really tough because the Rangers are just an unreal team. They are so good. But so is Carolina. Carolina is, I think they're very good too. And I think their goaltending could stay healthy. If their goaltending could stay healthy, which I think they could do here. So in this one, who do I have playing Tampa Bay? This will not be another rematch. I think the Carolina Hurricanes find a way to knock off the New York Rangers, and it ends up being the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Carolina Hurricanes in the Eastern Conference Final. So, we have Colorado Avalanche and the Edmonton Oilers in a rematch of the 2022 Western Conference Final. In the East, we have the Tampa Bay Lightning playing the Carolina Hurricanes. Now this one again, this was tough, but I think it ends up being a very similar result as to the year prior. So coming out of the Western Conference, probably nobody's surprise, it's the Colorado Avalanche. That is who I have coming out of the Western Conference. Now, in the East, this would be a great series. This would be a fantastic series. And I think it ends up being a fantastic series. The winner that I have coming out of here, that ends up playing Colorado, again, could be completely wrong. Of course, some people will be like, wow, you're really bold, with all the rematches. But I think we get it. I think we get a rematch of the 2022 Stanley Cup Final in 2023. We have the Colorado Avalanche playing against the Tampa Bay Lightning, who would be making their 4th straight Stanley Cup appearance. Looking to get 3 in a row. Now, who wins? Who wins the rematch? Let us find out, shall we? This is who I have winning the 2023 Stanley Cup. Hope you guys will be able to see that. Oops. Hopefully you guys will be able to see that. In the rematch, winning their 3rd Stanley Cup in 4 years and cementing themselves as a dynasty, the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think Tampa is going to be on a mission again this year. They've got something to prove. I could see them going into this season and come playoff time doing very similar to what they did coming out of 2019 when they got embarrassed and getting swept as a 62-win team. Getting embarrassed. They came out of that series and they won 2 straight Stanley Cups. They finally again get a taste of defeat last year. I think that is going to stick. That's going to stick in their craw a little bit. It's going to motivate them. And when the playoffs roll around, I just think with a healthy Braden Point, with Kucherov, with Stamkos, Cirelli, Chernak, can't say Palat's gone, but Vasilevsky in goal. I think Tampa does it. I think the Tampa Bay Lightning win their 3rd Stanley Cup in 4 years, and they cement themselves as a dynasty. Now again, I'm anticipating being completely wrong. And I would love to know your guys' thoughts in the comment section. Who do you think wins all these series? Where do I go wrong? Let me know let me know where you think I went wrong in any of these series. And who would you have winning? Who do you think goes and advances? Who do you think ends up winning the Stanley Cup? I'd love to know what you guys think in the comment section. Again, I will leave a link to the Discord in the description. Now that I think I figured out how the Discord thing works, I didn't exactly realize initially the links expire, so I guess I got to go in and do the link and make sure that I set it to never. So I will do that. I will put that in the Discord so everybody can find the Discord. And again, if you were new to the channel, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it would be awesome if you hit like and subscribe over there. And again, if you've been around and you've seen the videos, you've watched them, but you haven't quite gotten up to hitting the subscribe button, go ahead and do it. It would, it's free. Definitely not a bad thing to do. It would be greatly appreciated on my part. And again, trying to see if I can get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And yeah. Oh, and if some people are wondering, wait, what jersey is that? This is one of the All-Star jerseys. Figured, why wear one particular team? I'll just wear the whole league. So again, let me know what you guys think. Let me know where you think I'm wrong. And again, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, let me know who you think. To me, I have Tampa winning the Stanley Cup for the third time in 4 years. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Hit the link to join the Discord to keep the conversation going. And hit like and subscribe over there if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys later.